Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the beautiful capital of the Navajo Nation, here in Window Rock, Arizona. We are here at the Navajo Nation's Veterans Memorial Park. Today is a day that we are setting aside to acknowledge and recognize and to say thank you to our veterans on the Navajo Nation and off the Navajo Nation. All our veterans that have served in all the military personnel, all the branches from the Army, the Navy, the Marine, and also the Air Force and the Coast Guard. We want to thank them very much here today. So we're going to start off first with a invocation. The invocation is going to be given by Shanale, Mr. David Davis Filford from the OPVP office.
Oh, yat eto kya shinale. Ado no tsokaikisloni tlonigi yat e. Good morning to our Navajo Nation President, the Honorable Mr. Jonathan Nez. Ado Shewedo First Lady. And good morning, Senator. Good to have you here on the Navajo Nation. Shamado Chief Justice yat e. Ado all the dignitaries that are here with us. Baseball sa ano lindigi she koto nikishkon lindigi ado Speaker of the House shiche ado shamado chiken pa hajoni kodo chan kidot ado kade kwa nikishkon lindigi pa hinsen Davis Filford shin shiedo ado kitlichi in the enshla last che bashin bit anda shiche kodichin dasanale so leha hotso bigite ade ado ko ado national shokoyat eto ba kensen o shin zahaje dole hojo dole nana shamano hosan ado shitra yatishil ado ni tsodezen higin da ilini digin de neno lenigi ado shije johna ni hikitsan no stan na yo ale nebe den do nebe jo pa ne ho wanne da hana khade ko hananin zado ado agata has ad ein habekit in lado yago leje nikito hat an hikinad ladigi jo e hye ado kon shahi na bigije ko etsebra ho zan jo e hat a e do ben hier hat elzen ado e yahas lat so do banna hatit an ek ako e henni jo het a be hatet an lenigit kodo e da ilne bin yeha e anigi ni hisalat so den nen lenigi do e kagish lejizet o yul an e do betsental gragi do betsental genigi do an e lidat so benelni dije ko le hote shi sto jo e ade na lenigi bil na il on do yat egi shit do shi ba yat higi dan ko dishti din hilhol jishigi jo e lakot ayil tahigi benna do yaha ko ade yahan he dahnat bi yado di no do bakado sit tahigi ni yash bi yado jo benna jo yaha ko do di chido nle hol jishte so da large da hijoga World War I Bigedo on the 11th month, on the 11th day at the 11th hour. Amnesty Day, Johot Ayeji. A year one do day, one behes ani, a ye lago, Zad art on the last talk at Hinanigi, Benanish ye lagi, a padoli. Johot Ayapen here hot osen, a go here nitzen. Ado is katenat, Ado, there's luck echo, then Nina Yehegi. Jo e kontrate de la apa hagit la an na da haske di stinde ben sekes bit is da hat adaba oko kon hit how da hollo at da akot henni higi be di chido nana akot tayat hit yan do stra alte yo ne jo e kon be henni ko di chi la chide ekot ni hido ko ne da na an lenigit do sendo so the zen do kodo sabe heta itzi an lein chibi is do ben ka je da is not do da is age it so na haige to thi to e yaha bennache anil zu anil ende e yaha a hede di ni ane dat in lande thon nande ade betis na stol lande e do behen ni danne ka ade de khagi to e do et asati nenigi donne bohnet zada a benel niko a patsodil zino a hot ade na khaya e ben na e zat altso ko she comrades dan linigi jo et altso be j ben sekis be in nas large ben na nish be ultra khishi ye ke het lashi altso na habenel ni do le shtra digin de yod e digin de job ba digin ba hojoni digin stai nili nleni na ilzi yat e a hilde hegi jo ik at e hakon benche naus kan to benche so this is an addition and it a holyegi en detta e ha a khishi yenche ini ziki jo e bich e ha be ba ahan zendo in sannako in nahi ge ke lago lego ne is ako bisnande khato bisnande il tatole ni his lot so dan lenigi a large United States Army has led to the account the United States Navy in the United States Marine Corps to the not ben not at kodo e ya Air Force ya kade Coast Guard and lenigi do e whole tank e to be yado in the ya the oath the lagi the Constitution the United States it's na yagi e to e benashni dole na so additional hashtag theatre hunlo hashtag one kedo hunlo not il the yat e ba hajoni ba da teni ba ahila bili khato le khodo ak e don le khe na khido gwachet a hot a hol ago ako ni Coast Guard and linigi tho linigi at de kha in the dan Air Force and linigi hinchi yite de kha no zambi hot e da altso le yabi yite besitz lago yego e ya holtzelen hilkhas ado lehton hilna den tago ayunt an khat zeto has ado lehti United States American kanklas anigi nison ye edition uni to the zen yin da ilin what I bought to this zendoli oh hajin huge shibe but so dol zendobe na jo khashinde ahun shinde e ya beto this zendoli beni hiki hunt idon hiki hui la doli hujun doli hujunasli
Yeah, Shanale, for that beautiful prayer. With that beautiful prayer, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue with our ceremony today. I'm going to turn the time over to Mr. Hubert Smith, who is the Deputy Director for the Veterans Organization here, the Veterans Administration of the Navajo Nation. He's going to be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. We'll do an about face and go ahead and do our Pledge of Allegiance here, okay? Yat eh bene. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all.
Thank you. We are now going to have the national anthem that's going to be rendered by our Miss Navajo Nation, Niagara Rockbridge.
Yashogotanole hayol kalbiyeden badahwinigo ate danata iyegoneyet nelini no dos tesos na bayit khaya betsawniye godenale nekejende tahende panelini ahol ago benedneda Bahazi Daholonete Eya Bedosi Hosin Donehada Setozende Doshi Ezo Bensenilko Danat Ahol Ado Nehekeya Bigi Agi God Hojo Nahazli.
Thank you. You may now be seated. I want to do some recognition of some of our guests here today. We want to thank, of course, our Honorable President of the Navajo Nation, Mr. Jonathan Nez, for being here with us today. So please give him a round of applause for me. And his lovely wife, First Lady of the Navajo Nation, is also here. And it's an honor to have here with us today. This guy is very busy, but he found some time to be here with us today. This is the Honorable Mark Kelly, Arizona State Senator. We also have Senator Lujan, Senator Senior Aide, Mr. Brian Lee is also here. Chief Justice, Honorable Joanne Jane is also here with us. Honorable Raymond Smith, Navajo Nation Council. James Zwirlane, Executive Director for the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration. Billy Goodman, Tuba City Agency Commander. We also have, of course, Miss Navajo is also here with us. Niagara Rockbridge, yeah, for that beautiful song, the beautiful singing. We also have Ashley Watts, Princess from Rock Springs Veterans Organization. Ben Ray Lujan, Senior Field Representative, is also here. So again, thank you all very much. And if I forgot anybody here, go ahead and let me know. But we want to thank you all, guests, visitors, family, and those of you that are tuning in with us here today. I was very honored to be asked to come here to host this event. And my name is Pax Harvey. Twitch ni denensle, my deshkini bashin, sit na jini das chedo twitson ni edashanal. We're going to go ahead and continue here. I'm going to turn some time over to our Honorable President of the Navajo Nation, Mr. Jonathan Nez.
Good morning, everybody. Let's give Pax Harvey a big round of applause, please. He's been all over the Navajo Nation and helping out during this public health emergency as well. So shana hela na nishin la do andin na nishin le aro he aden ha dasio kaigido kwa nihinat ani dano linigin hi beshmas an aro kodo ni Senator Mark Kelly don khania la edo ba hida kadash wanish ke no lini kon khania nigi e ba ke nitsen she kodo shedej shin ein shlido tknes ne ba shishi aro twidchini da shechero tkachini da shanale aro shant tode e yisina sha kon ke madon khania la hela kwa bahajo dije kwa lasitli jun hitslal so e ba kwa Alla jibaho and the Aquichin Akon gets loud so bad here. Every day is Veterans Day. I just introduced myself in Navajo, and we come to you from the capital of the Navajo Nation for this virtual recognition and celebration of Veterans Day. Today we come together to honor and express our appreciation for all veterans and their families who served in every branch of the military. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we are not able to come together for a large celebration as in past years. We know that many of our Diné warriors continue to step up and serve and protect our communities throughout this pandemic. Many of our veterans are now serving as first responders here on the Navajo Nation, and they are on the front lines of this fight against COVID-19. So we strongly encourage everyone to celebrate Veterans Day safely to reduce the spread of the virus. Thank you to all of the veterans with us today, the Navajo Nation Veterans Advisory Council, commanders, and many others who serve our communities. I also want to thank my brother Pax Harvey, Marine Corps Veteran Davis Filfred, Miss Navajo Nation Niagara Rockbridge, Veterans Administration 24th Navajo Nation Council, Chief Justice Joanne Jane, and of course our First Lady, my wife, Cecilia Nez. Thank you for being here. And everyone who helped with today's event to honor our veterans. I also want to recognize a couple of special guests who are with us today, including U.S. Senator Mark Kelly and Mr. Brian Lee with Senator Ben Ray Lujan's office. We are happy to have you with us today, and we will provide some time for you to speak as well. Yesterday, I had the honor of attending the funeral service of one of our Diné warriors, World War II veteran Benny Cowboy of Mariano Lake, New Mexico. During his service, his family spoke about the courage and dedication that he exemplified throughout his lifetime. He served in battle in the South Pacific as a marksman. He was wounded in combat and received an honorable discharge. Despite being wounded in battle, he was never awarded a Purple Heart. But yet he never made an issue of it and never spoke about it. He continued on providing a living for his family and built a good life for his wife Rita and their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. During his funeral service, his children shared a family tree which displayed the long and proud history of military service of their family. It showed that many of their family members had served previously and many more who are currently serving. It made me proud. And it served as a reminder of the service, sacrifices, and commitment of so many of our people. And we appreciate those families that have loved ones who have served this great nation and that are serving right now. As Diné, we all have family members of relatives that have served in the military who are serving at this very moment in different parts of the world. As Diné, we have the highest per capita rate of military service than any other demographic. Our people have served this country in every conflict, and many of our people have made the ultimate sacrifice. Today, we pray for those who have passed on, including all of the Gold Star mothers and families, and for those families who are awaiting the return of their loved ones who are currently serving in the military. We have a few Navajo code talkers who remain with us today, most of whom have passed on over the years. We cannot celebrate this special day without acknowledging our Navajo code talkers who used our sacred language, our Diné language, the words of our ancestors, to help win World War II. We pray for them and all of their loved ones as well. Today is a time to be proud of who we are as Diné people, to pay tribute to all of the men and women who serve our country, and to honor and remember those who gave their lives for our freedom and our country. Vice President Myron Lizer, Doyel Inail Inigi Second Lady Dottie Lizer, Aro Shido Kodosh Estza, Cecilia Nez, Aro Kodo Nat Ani Dani Klinigi, Tsalal So no Klinigi, Tsalal Dan no Klinigi, Tashin Khat Chink at Tsalal Dan Le, To Nande, Edo Kodo Hihe, Dabadi Nido Le, Shik Edo Shina, Nakhandaz Ba, Kun hit Tsalal So do A Kuich, Andi Nakhandaz Neshot. Tsalal dan leya zel in dan le kun yika natjahog stada zitse beats at the handes di kaishin ya ilni chostoit ini do kosenskagi na hast ets at biji iliagi kodobik ich in de pa a kuich a he lashik eno lini hada ino no qadabi chini khana hallen akonde ada ninit hada ino ne shik eno lini ni chito ni zebik dast ki akont khada do khash mode kondo la anat ani nkhayk Navajo County there how zoje tsala benant an linigi David Klaus Sherfin linigi Otto Shinado Jesse Thompson do nkhani yala edo here Apache County there do kontlanda khego at nihinat ani dan linigi Otto nihido kojin dene ni Washington has aje laje tsilide dani linigi kodoshma Madam Chief Justice Joanne Jane edo hot abna nish on lan dezit kodo bikijin de pato nkhandal nishigi gidadet io la dezit ye besh pas andan linigi do he da bidi nido le kodo le besh pas an ya na chaje behz ani yandat ye landa ile je koni ki keni hinna badeit il ka nature do kishin deilnish keno lini aro Washington je has aje do kon hinat ani ateo ganje Senator and Linigi Mark Kelly Nakhaniya Eshido Kodo Ahe Nakhabedini do le Beso Lan Hijidet Aya Nletsa Beso Hijidet Ana CARES Act 714 million Hot Al Beso Hijidet Aro ni do American Rescue Plan Act will ye go Yelada Asli Naki the bill so Net A Kodo Hijidet koni hikeni hidna lana danzen ya tubich kodolni besh chi da bikuch kodolni haganda da dolni ha no hot abin da hait out ashik eno thini Washington je you behaz ani hada dat ego kodoni hits allowed so nakhayada thio nakhanda pa eben nachi kodo ani hidani tsno konde khaya ani tsushik eno thini DJ kon hits allowed so bedelni akonda kuiche ni hits allowed so bedelni shik edoshna hadainos na anotsko ni hits allowed so benanishida yilagi edo betzilo benanishida yilao eshi kodo danil ego eben nache ben hitzil do le naso net ni shik enoslini a la ade da isonot tsagi do dani hinatigi so konso shi kodo ni hiche hasit do le nek eche aro di yini helta halono. Next, I'd like to introduce a very special guest. It is an honor for us to have Navy veteran and United States Senator Mark Kelly joining us today. Senator Kelly has been a friend to the Navajo Nation. He has visited multiple times over the past couple of years to listen and to understand Navajo issues. And we've visited him there in Washington, D.C. during the time that we visited with the U.S. President, Joe Biden. And Senator Kelly has taken what he has heard here on the Navajo Nation to fight for us in Washington. He delivered funding to the Navajo Nation for COVID-19 testing and vaccines and many other projects here on the Navajo Nation. He delivered an infrastructure bill that will pave roads, expand access to high-speed internet, and bring drinking water to Navajo homes and communities. Thanks to Senator Kelly, the Navajo Nation has been able to make progress beating COVID-19 and is going to put people to work in good-paying jobs to upgrade our infrastructure. Senator Kelly is a combat veteran himself, also understands the sacrifices made by our Navajo veterans. Thank you, Senator Kelly, for joining us today. And let's give him a big round of applause. Senator Kelly, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, President Nez. Yate, folks, good morning. Great to be here. Great to be back in Window Rock. And President Nez, thank you for organizing this event and for hosting me today. I wanted to be on the Navajo Nation on Veterans Day. Veterans Day is incredibly important to me. but I also know it's incredibly important to the Navajo people. I wanted to thank the Navajo veterans for their service. I've got a history of service in my family as well. My dad was in the 82nd Airborne. One of my grandfathers served in World War II in the Pacific. So this day is incredibly significant to me and my family. As President Nez said, I served in the United States Navy. I spent 25 years in the U.S. Navy as a pilot, a combat pilot, a test pilot, then as an astronaut. I flew in combat in the first Gulf War, flying 39 combat missions. And now it's my great honor to continue to serve our country by representing the great state of Arizona in the United States Senate. Since starting this job, it's been nearly a year now, I've been focused on a number of things. But one of those things, one of my top priorities have been to beat this COVID-19 pandemic, get Arizonans the support they need and the resources that we have all needed to get through this. And through all of that, I've ensured that tribal communities are not an afterthought, but a priority. When we passed the American Rescue Plan, it represented the largest ever federal investment in tribes, helping tribal communities distribute vaccines and rebuild the economy. And now, as we have just passed an infrastructure and jobs bill, a historic infrastructure and jobs bill, I once again made it a priority of mine to improve tribal roads, water systems, and high-speed internet access. The federal government, as you all know, has a trust obligation to the Navajo Nation and other tribal governments. And as we reflect today on the sacrifices made by Navajo heroes, I'm reminded that this obligation extends to Navajo veterans. I know that Navajo servicemen and women have a long history of proudly defending our great country. When I first met State Senator Jamesita Peshlikai, one of the first things we talked about was our service and where we were during the first Gulf War. She was in the desert outside of Kuwait. I was flying overhead in an airplane. And while our paths didn't cross literally, we were there together as Americans serving our country. Now, I know that this legacy of Navajo service stretches back generations, like the Navajo code talkers, who were so critical for us to be able to defeat the Axis forces in the Pacific. Some of those code talkers faced discrimination. But even before the United States legally granted Native Americans the right to vote, Navajo veterans put on the uniform and put their lives on the line for all of us. That's why it's important that we have their backs when they return from military service. That includes providing reliable, efficient, and culturally appropriate programs that support tribal veterans. One of the biggest challenges, and I heard this morning in council chambers, is making VA care accessible in rural tribal communities. Too often, the VA system is underfunded and it's unable to provide the full range of benefits. And the lack of internet connectivity and medical professionals on tribal lands leaves so many without adequate services. This often leads to homelessness and joblessness and substance abuse and suicide among tribal veterans. And that is unacceptable. Now, I know that the Navajo Nation has a tradition not just of military service, but of supporting and lifting up veterans. I've seen the veterans' housing projects that are putting a roof over the head of Navajo veterans. And I know that the Navajo Nation is working hard to support its veterans. But Washington needs to keep up its end of this bargain. Last December, we passed legislation to eliminate co-payments for tribal veterans, which removed a significant barrier to care for many. These co-pays were not cheap, sometimes costing $280 per veteran on average. So I'm continuing to work to pass legislation that will improve the VA, making it more accountable and transparent to veterans, and also to extend its reach onto tribal lands and to improve the services that Navajo veterans receive. Navajo veterans have earned the same care and benefits as every other veteran. And I'm going to work to keep making sure that they get those benefits, that they are delivered. So thank you again. Thank you again for welcoming me back to Window Rock. I thought it was going to be a little colder when I checked the weather today, so it's nice to be here on such a sunny day. It is my great honor to represent the Navajo Nation in the United States Senate and to represent so many Navajo veterans who have served our country so well and with distinction. And I wish everyone a happy and safe Veterans Day. Thank you again for welcoming me here. Thank you, President Nez.
How about that one more time, ladies and gentlemen? Please give our senator a round of applause for the great support that he gives our people. And we want to thank him very much for the contribution that he'll be doing and giving to our people. We have next the congressional address by the Senator Lujan's senior aide, Mr. Brian Lee.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for inviting us, Mr. President, Senator, Madam Chief Justice, members of the council. Thank you for allowing us to be at this ceremony, and apologize that Senator Lujan could not be here today, but he sends his regards and his best wishes. He also appreciates his colleague, Senator Kelly, for being a part of this ceremony. He enjoys the camaraderie. He enjoys the brotherhood. He enjoys the partnership you all share when coming together to work for Navajo, to work for the tribes, to work for Navajo, for New Mexico, and for Arizona. We have gotten a lot of things done. As he enumerated the things that are in the infrastructure package, we are also working on making sure that tribal communities decrease the backlog that is in Indian Health Services, wastewater and water facilities, and make sure that all these homes get connected and that broadband is a priority, and then making sure that housing is a priority. In the next package, you're going to see that NAHASDA is part of the infrastructure that is in the funds that are going to be part of that package. So there's a lot of good things coming. There's a lot of wonderful things coming. If you total it up, Navajo is going to probably come to about $3 billion altogether. So, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Navajo's got a lot of work ahead of itself to make sure that these communities are covered, both in Arizona and New Mexico and Utah, and in the urban communities. We have a lot of folks, relatives in Flagstaff, in Phoenix, and Albuquerque, and Farmington who need help too. So make sure that we cover those bases too. So thank you for this time. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this ceremony. And I'm going to read a letter from Senator Lujan. Hello, it is an honor to join you today to recognize the contribution of America's veterans. For generations, men and women have answered the call of our nation and have left their families to fight for our values and our freedoms. Nowhere is that more evident than in New Mexico, starting with the Battle of Glorieta of Glorieta passed in 1862 to their service rights around the world. Luis Lujan, my grandfather, served in World War II and recounted stories of bravery and sacrifice fighting alongside his brothers in arms. I know many of you have shared or been inspired by stories like these from other New Mexicans. From the Navajo code talkers and the soldiers who endured the Bataan Death March in World War II, to our Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, Persian and post 9/11 veterans, New Mexicans have always answered the call to serve. This Veterans Day, I join a grateful nation who is inspired by the stories of bravery and sacrifice for our service members and honor these heroes for their unwavering commitment to our country. Today, our nation not only honors these brave soldiers and mourns those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, but also takes a moment to reflect on how we can better meet the needs of the veteran community. To our veterans in New Mexico and across this country, we will endeavor to honor the sacrifice you made to protect us and the American values that we hold dear. As a member of the United States Senate, I will continue to fight for all veterans here on the Navajo Nation in New Mexico and in Arizona and across the country and ensure that America lives up to its promise to take care of those who have taken care of us. Sincerely, Ben Ray Lujan, United States Senate. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Thank you. Now I'm going to turn some time over to our Chief Justice, the Honorable Joanne Jane.
Yat e bine. Yat e. She ya Joanne Jane and she. Kapahen slick in the ani bashes chin. Twitchini dashiche, Ado Tapahe dashanella. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joanne Jane. I'm the Chief Justice for the Great Navajo Nation. I'm very honored to be here today. I would like to address Nihitene Ado Nihike. Thank you for those that are listening on the World Wide Web. I address you today as we all do today. Mr. President and First Lady, thank you very much for leading us. Thank you for your leadership. Senator Kelly, thank you for your leadership to the Navajo Nation. And also I would like to also address all of the 24th Navajo Nation Council. There are members that are here today and there are members that may be listening and or working at their respective jobs. Thank you very much. I want to honor today all of the veterans that are here with us, the veterans and your families that are here with us, and then also all the veterans that and their families and all the supporters that are on the World Wide Web listening to us on the radio. Thank you very much. Today, what I want to do is I want to address you as a child, a child of a veteran. I want to address you in that spotlight. I want to say that as a child, I knew that my father was in the war, but at that time, I did not know why or what war it was. And so as I grew up, but I did notice the traits of my father. He was a father who was good. He did everything well. His skills that he learned, and I didn't know until later on, the skills that he would have learned in combat or skills that he would have learned when he was serving our country. He was a gunner behind his pilot, and they crashed into the ocean. They spent some time there. He did not get a Purple Heart, but you know what? He had a great heart, a great heart for his country and then also for his people. I suspect that his survival skills help him. to come back and be a good citizen, to be a good family member. I'm not surprised that my father lied about his age to get into the Navy. He was only a teenager at the time. There are countless other stories that all of us here and those that are listening that we can talk about, that we have these tender moments for all of you, your families. And I experienced that. I experienced being in a home when there were things that we had to take care of in the home. The laughter, the tears, sometimes hunger, sometimes no roof over our heads. Whatever that was, whatever challenge that was, I know that from my heart because I was in that home. Later on, as my brother and my father-in-law and my in-laws and fathers and mothers of my nieces and nephews and my grandchildren, all of those that served in the war, or whether it was foreign or whether it was domestic. So I do understand. I understand the challenges and I understand the hurt. But then at the same time, we also understand how we can be proud, how that we can hold our heads up, because we are a great nation. We live in the best nation in the world, in the universe. In fact, Senator Kelly is probably the one that has been closest to the sun and probably has been closest to millions of stars than we have as an astronaut. However, our view of the world right now, the sun that's up today, and then also tonight when we see the millions and millions of stars, we know that we depend and we owe this to our families, our brothers, our fathers, our grandfathers, and also our aunts and our mothers, our grandmothers that have served with us. We are eternally grateful to you. We are so grateful that we can be here to have this life that we know, and we will continue to support you. I do understand and know that the Navajo Nation is in the spotlight in order to get the services that our veterans need. I know that we are all together on that, and as a nation, as a three-branch government, we are behind all the veterans, and we are looking forward to providing more services and more funding and so on, because we want our veterans to be able to enjoy a roof over their head. We want the widows to be able to say, my husband or my son or someone had served, and I want to be the one that I may have the fruits of their labor. And it's a good labor, it's a good wish, and it's a good thought, it's a blessing. So I wanted to bring that up today briefly. I want to say aheha again, thank you so much for the veterans and for those that are not with us today, but those that are online and those that are listening to us. Aheha, shiteneto shike.
Nedo aheha nana in Chicago. Thank you. And I believe the senator is going to be leaving here pretty soon. Am I correct? In a few more minutes. So before you leave, do we have a burrito lady here? Maybe one with mutton in it, so we can give some mutton to Mr. Kelly here before he takes off. Okay, so we'll turn the time over to our Navajo Nation Council, the Honorable Raymond Smith.
Good morning. Yate Anidia Shadija. The Nenslinige Yahat the Betlejan, Ado Kitlichini. The Shaja, Wanarani, the Shachedo, Nakai, A. the Chanel. Yate Nana, veterans on Otlinigi, Salalso, dignitaries. It is an honor to be here to speak on behalf of the veterans. I want to say thank you, our President of Navajo Nation, First Lady, and also Senator Kelly for coming all the way up here to be with us under this beautiful sky in the Veterans Park. I know we've been talking a lot about past veterans, World War II. We had just lost an honorary veteran in our community. Stephen Ashley Sr. served in World War II as an Army. He's going to be laid to rest with honorary, and we thank him for the service that he provided. He was from originally Allentown, Arizona, between Lupton and Houck, and his family would like me to bring this to our fellow veterans, our federal warriors out there, that we have lost a World War II veteran just recently. I'd like to say that veterans today, thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your devotion. Thank you for those that were drafted. Thank you for those that volunteered and went into action. Those that have come back. And I want to thank those that have lost loved ones, widows, whether they're male or female. Our heart goes out to you. And Gold Star mothers and Blue Star mothers, and those that are still serving in the armed forces today. Today is a wonderful day to recognize and to say thank you. Thumbs up to all veterans throughout the Navajo Nation, the great United States, and appreciate the services that you have provided in all 5 branches: U.S. Army, Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps, and also the Army. Did I repeat any? I'm trying to remember them off cue here. I'd like to introduce, before I forget, we have a delegation from the 24th Navajo Nation Council that's sitting with me. He is on the Budget and Finance Committee. He's my Che Baitlan and Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. You see. Thank you for being here. As the 24th Navajo Nation Council, we do support and honor all veterans. And we thank all veterans from the bottom of our hearts. And I'm sure there's veterans out here in this parking lot. Would you please raise your hand so you can be identified? Please raise your hand. Keep your hands raised. We have veterans here that have served, whether it was peacetime, whether it was wartime. We thank you for your services. And we have a wonderful day today in remembering veterans. And I appreciate our senator, who's leaving right now, coming out to be with us this day and to honor, and also being in the United States Navy, and also being an astronaut, and also speaking on behalf of the Navajo Nation's needs. And we know that we are getting dollars coming down through the federal government. We need to prepare for our projects, infrastructure, things that our folks need out there. There's a lot of things that are still pending: running water, clean water, roads, homes, electricity, things of that nature, broadband for our kids to go to school. We have a lot of work to do. And with the help of the federal government, with the help of the 3-branch government, Shema just spoke with the Chief Justice, we can do this, and we can move forward to help our veterans family, military families, and all those that are on this great Navajo Nation. I'd like to say to all you veterans, have a good day. Keep yourself safe. Keep your distance. Wash your hands. And God be with you. May the Lord bless you and your family on a daily basis. And prayer is powerful. Prayer is wonderful. We all pray for your families and your loved ones every day, that you will be safe and sound. And we thank you again, for letting me be up here and having the honor. And I'd like to thank Miss Navajo and Miss Rough Rock. Is that right? Rock Point. Okay. Rock Springs. Okay, Rock Springs down here. Thank you. From Window Rock to Rock Springs. Yeah. And so I think they want me to take a picture with the senator, so I will make it short. And God bless you all. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I want to make a correction. Earlier, I addressed the senator as a Arizona state senator. He's not. He's the U.S. senator. I have to correct that before he takes off. So we want to thank him, his staff, his organization, everyone again for coming up and being with us today. I'm going to turn the time over to Mr. James Zwirline, the Executive Director for the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning to the people of the great Navajo Nation. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day here in Window Rock, Arizona. Not being one for speeches, this will be exceptionally short. Inspiration. Ronald Reagan once said, people spend an entire lifetime wondering if they made a difference in this world. Marines don't have that problem. Some of us joined following inspiration, and whether it be in the footsteps of family or friends. Some of us joined hoping to find that inspiration. Others may have found it after their service. I found myself wondering once upon a time if I made a difference. I was looking for that inspiration. Fast forward a few years, and an opportunity presented itself for me to be able to make a difference. Even better, I found a source of inspiration. While I thank my brothers and sisters who served, and I wish a happy belated birthday to my fellow Marines, hoorah! And while we honor all our veterans today, I would like to thank President Nez for his leadership, for his guidance, and for helping all of us through this difficult time, and specifically for his inspiration. It is an honor to have served in the Marine Corps, and it is even greater personal honor to have served in your administration. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, veterans. Without your service, we would not be here today. Marine Corps has a saying, honor, courage, and commitment. My promise to you is to honor your sacrifices and your struggles, to have the courage to do what needs to be done, to fight the fights that must be fought. And my commitment is to follow through until the very end, to make sure that you have the services and the benefits and the housing that you so greatly need and deserve. With that, once again, veterans, Navajo veterans, my brothers and sisters, thank you for your service and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, sir, for all that you do and also providing the valuable services to our people and our veterans. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn the time over to Mr. Billy Goodman Jr., the Tuba City Agency Commander.
Introduce myself, Billy Goodman Jr. Tsapi Kinda Nasha. Shimaya Kentlichini and Danitla. Shizay Torchini, that's a chege yet a tapa, those that's nale yet a tachini. Rota. So, I got that in Nenchla. This is acapella for me. Doi Kadoha Steve one test case or other Lilodia. Ko net Kado is this me. So I'm here. So back in 1984 I enlisted. Who would think I'd be addressing an audience today? Doy hut hunza to the here. Don't wires on this shit. Don't wiring on this shit. You hut on the not done das the askandas it all as you to take pictures, to take the audio, to deliver to somebody's phone. Yeah, that's pretty much what our mission was in the military. Is our prime objective is defending the Constitution. The Constitution that everybody, all citizens of the United States, it gives us order. It gives us an objective to be one nation. Let me give you a scenario. I used to fly in be in a squadron that flew reconnaissance. When we launch, I'm not the pilot. When we get to where we need to go, I'm not the navigator. So, and then the crew compliment I equate our president as a commander, the pilot. Mrs. Verla, he's a mission commander, and we're part of the cog that makes the mission happen, so we can get bombs on target. If the system breaks, it fails, and then there's somebody that's depending on us. They don't get our help, and that's how I view our veterans here. So, if the system breaks, we used to fall back to another orbit called a fallback orbit to fix the system, to get it working properly, and then we re-engage. That's how I view the mission of the Advisory Council is here. So I am one of 11 of the Navajo Nation Veterans Advisory Council. Mrs. Verline is as a director, has a seat, as do I, as all commanders of all agencies. And then we have 2 representatives from all agencies, so a male and a female. So it's obvious. I have a counterpart. My counterpart is Gabriella Mail out of Tulani Lake. So we represent the Western Agency. I want to acknowledge the other agencies as well. Central, Tim Johnson, C.C. Baker. Northern is Vern Lee and Eloise Brown. Eastern, Maurice Verline and Gilbert Platero. Sorry. And then Central, that's Tim Johnson. I'm sorry. So we're the advisory council members for the Navajo Nation under the office of President, Vice President. So we right now, all I ask of everybody is to work in collaboration. The mission doesn't launch if it doesn't get fuel. It doesn't get launched if the air doesn't get tired. I mean, the tire don't get aired. When we come home, we have all this product. What do we do with it? I know. I don't know. I'm not an intel specialist. We hand it off and it gets figured out. And then it gets disseminated to all where it needs to go. So where one objective would be the justice system or the council or to the health administrators. So it's all done in collaboration. It's a big collaborative effort. And if we talk and our lines cross, and if we talk amongst each other, but not at each other, not with each other, just beyond each other, that objective doesn't happen. And that's all I ask of my fellow advisory council members. And I thank you on behalf of us to your our veterans. Thank you for your service. And it's good to be home. And our people that are serving right now, we want to accommodate them and make that transition easier when they get home as well. Thank you.
Okay, we want to thank Mr. Goodman Jr. for being here with us today. He's also going to be giving us the benediction. But we want to thank all the spouse of the veterans, the children, the grandkids, the nollies, and all the even as far as your sheep dogs, res dogs, all the way down to your cows, your horses, animals, for being part of our veterans' lives and taking care of them and being there for them. So thank you guys very much today. We're thinking of our veterans today, and throughout this Navajo Nation, a lot of families are having ceremonies, get-togethers, and celebrating. And we want to also acknowledge them too, and also be safe and be careful as you come together out there. I always enjoy doing work like this for our people, and so again I want to thank the Veterans Organization, the administration, for having me come here today. I want to thank the VA, Navajo Nation Veterans Administration, for coordinating with the OPVP office, our Honorable President and Vice President of Navajo Nation and their staff, everyone coming together, and all those that were part of this coordination making this happen today. And all of you families, people of Navajo Nation, for being here and listening and taking part. And also, maybe as you're watching, you could put a prayer in there somewhere before the sun sets for our veterans out there. Positivity only, prayer only, love only, unity only. That's what our military is about. They have gave the ultimate sacrifice for us to enjoy our lives every single day. So make sure you appreciate that and give thanks. So with that said, I'm going to turn the time back over to Mr. Goodman. He'll give us a benediction for today. Thank you.
Yeah, again. All rise. Our hats, please. Our Heavenly Father, we ask for your benediction to rest us this day, as you have graciously preserved our nation through the years and have led us in wondrous ways. Grant that we may be worthy of your high calling and nation. Make us reverent in the use of freedom, just in the exercise of power, and generous in protection of the weakness. Inspire the men and women who direct our nation, that they may guide it wisely and well. Remember all those whose sacrifice gave this nation its greatness, progress, and riches. May our memory and all of those who serve in the armed forces be an honorable one, full of thanksgiving to the Lord. And remember with much love and mercy those who died in the service of our country, whether on the air or on the land or in the seas. Be with us now to strengthen us, about us to keep us, above us to protect us, beneath us to uphold us, before us to direct us, behind us to keep us from straying, and round about to defend us. Be with us all and provide us with traveling mercy as we return to our homes. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.